Hi, it's Dawn. Welcome back. I am still working with the Dr. P.H. Martin's concentrated watercolors. This is the last three that I've not yet swatched out, which I'm going to put in this half color wheel. And then I'm going to redo Crimson and Persimmon. When I first started this, I didn't realize there was some sediment in the bottom of these, and I did Crimson and Persimmon here without shaking it up. So I just want to see if there's a difference in those two colors. I've been shaking all the rest of the bottles up ever since, but I didn't realize it when I first started that I had not given that a good shake. And I'm using Tim Holtz's stencil THS 179. This is just a color wheel, and I just lay it down and draw it out, and there you go. But we've been playing around with these colors, and I own, just whatever this is, however many this is, I forget, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21 of them. And I have no idea how many they make, or, if they're still being made. I assume they're still being made. I bought these way before the pandemic, several years before the pandemic. It's been 5 years. So, time's a little bit of a blur. But shake these up really good. The first one is Sunset Red 45D, like Delta. And some of these are super pigmented, as we found, and some of them are not. The icy ones, the ones that say ice blue or ice green, ice pink, those tend to be less pigmented, I've found. But, that may suit you. That may be exactly what you want. And so far, the bulk of these have been what I've been calling Skittles. And they are just as bright as they can be, and it's not really my thing, which is probably why I don't hardly use them, because I tend to prefer a more muted palette, more earthy colors. And but I think these would be great for florals, or great for birthday things, or if you're making a birthday card, or really bright backgrounds where that might be appropriate. But summertime themes, things like that. But I tend to gravitate towards, and that's probably why I bought them. I know where I got them. There's a local art supply store here called Sam Flax, and I go in there, and it's like a kid going on a candy shop. You're like, ooh, I want all the colors of the rainbow, and I buy them. And then I get home and start playing with them, and then I go, not so much. And then I put them aside because I think, well, maybe I'll have a project come up that I'll want, bright, vivid colors for. And then, years go by and they're still sitting there. And so some of these have the sediment isn't mixing very well. Like on my last video, the cherry red was all gut. In fact, it's still, you can see it. It's like a debris from the sediment that was all up in the neck of the bottle. But whatever. All right, so this is Amber Yellow 16B, which doesn't look all that different from Sunset Red. But I like the pigment much better. I like the way it's going down. So let's just see. Oh, I can see this is more tangerine, and this is going to be much more orange. Or this is more melon, rather. Salmon. Whatever. I need more coffee. But I'm not going to do it, because then I'll be too jittery. Alright. We like that pretty well. This is a little bit more muted color. Burnt orange over here was a nice muted color I found. This one isn't too bad either. I would hesitate to call it yellow. It's called amber yellow, but that's a bit of a stretch to me. That's a bit way more orange than amber, but it's all right. All right, moving on. Let's go do iris blue. That's 53D. And let's see. This looks very pigmented, but that's not always an indication. Oh, nope, it is. This has got definite violet leanings. Let's see here. Too much water as per usual, Miss Dawn. But, you know, the only way that's going to change is practice. Maybe I'm just going to be that person with a lot of blue, or a lot of water. I seem to have an inordinate amount of blues in this color line, this brand of pigment. I tend towards blues and greens, in which I have a whole lot of those in my palette, and not a lot of yellow, or my stash I should say, and not a lot of yellow or red or orange, but it's okay. Oof, man. This is aptly named though, Iris Blue. I really like it. And as I said in a previous video, I think these pigments, now I am using a handmade journal that I made. It's 9x12. It's Strathmore 400 series, and it is cellulose, so it is not a great paper. But see how that just dropped in there, and now I got a big old target, you know. I think it's better for wet on wet technique is my only point than it is for wet on dry. So if you are a wet on dry person like I am, this is not as friendly, I don't think. I think you just gotta be careful, because you can't hardly move it. Once it's there, it does not want to scrub out. I mean, it might be able to, but will the paper tolerate it is the question. That is the question. So now let's redo these other two. Okay, so now we're going to do these other two in repeat. Kind of push it off to the side so we can kind of do a comparison if there's much of a difference. There may not be any difference at all, but I kind of believe that pigment, sediment, whatever that is there for a reason. And it affects the outcome. But I'm no scientist, so who knows? Well, I'll tell you, there's some schmutz in here now, but I think, well, we're gonna have to let it dry down, honestly, aren't we? And just a wet layer is not going to be a good comparison at all, is it? But I think I like this color better with it shaken up a bit. Shaken, not stirred. This is turning out to be positively neon, I might add, as it's drying. Absolutely fluorescent. That sunset red. Ooh. But you know, if you're looking, I think the name on these is Radiant. It is. And I think, you know, despite my joking about it being Skittles in color, I think that's the point. I wasn't mocking it or anything, but I do find it to be truthful to its name. All right, so this is Persimmon 3A. The other one was Crimson 18B. But this is now shaken. Let's see if we get a different result. And I think I think I'm definitely seeing a difference in the crimson. I'm seeing a lot of pinkier undertones in this one than I am in this one. But again, gotta wait for it to dry. All right, Persimmon, let's see what you got, girl. Come on, girl. Yeah. That changed it too. You know what? I'm worried I got a little red still on that. Let's try that again. This doesn't seem to have changed as much. Or maybe it did, and I'm just being in a hurry to make a judgment on it. Make a decision. Tough decision. Excuse me. Spring weather's got my sinuses acting all crazy. All right. Well, I'm glad I shook it up to see the difference, but I'm not sure there's a stark difference, but it's just good to know. And now we know. There is a little bit of difference, but I'm not sure it's a drastic difference. So if you forget to shake it up, you're probably all right. Well, that concludes this little session of Dr. P.H. Martin's concentrated watercolor. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you. We'll see you again soon. Bye.